What is good, YouTube? It is your boy Anime Devil Hunter, and it has been a minute since I last reviewed Jujutsu Kaisen. It feels great to be back, man. This was a great chapter. I love the fact that we're getting more shine and focus on Megumi. It's so great considering he's the detour antagonist of the series, and I feel like he doesn't get enough shine in general. I mean, he has his moments, but I feel like we need to focus more on him, considering one of the main reasons why we're even taking part in the Culling Games is to save Sumiki, his sister. So Megumi should probably have even a more dominant role than Yuji during that arc. Of course, Yuji is the main character, so he's gonna definitely have a huge role in it. But you know, the focus is on his sister. So I definitely believe we are going to get some huge Megumi shine in the Culling Games. So Megumi stands, get ready to rumble. Before we get into all that awesome stuff that went down this chapter, if you are new to Anime Devil Hunter, welcome. Here on this channel we cover all sorts of Jujutsu Kaisen content, weekly reviews, character explain videos, ability explain videos, and more. So definitely subscribe and turn on post notifications. Drop a like if you end up enjoying the review, and leave your honest thoughts on the chapter in the comment section below. And of course, say hi if you're new. Now let's begin. So the unofficial name of this chapter is Twinkle Star. We start the chapter off with a panel of Megumi closely observing the rabbits and seeing the word Crux and a star tattooed on them. He then looks at the door and sees a star and the Gag Crux written. The next panel, I guess, the official first page, we see Kirara surrounded by a bunch of rabbits. And if you look closely at Panda, he's literally on top of the rabbits like a wave, which was quite funny to me. Kirara then thinks to herself, that's a crazy amount. I wonder what he's planning. My curse technique marks curse energy, so Shikigami are treated exactly the same way as a user. We then see a mini panel of Megumi getting crushed by his rabbits. As she explains, just like the divine dog earlier was drawn to your Shikigami, it will crush and suffocate you. So Kirara thinks she has this in the bag. In the next panel, we see some dead rabbits, and following that, we see them all blow up, and it's like blood splatter everywhere, which honestly looks so dope. In the next panel, we see Megumi say to Panda Senpai, what do you think of my rabbit escape? Panda says it was cute, second only to me, which was funny. I mean, you asked him what he thought. He was being honest. Megumi of course gets irritated and says to Panda, I'm asking about what they could and couldn't get closer to. Panda then says they were able to approach me in the second floor, but they couldn't get to Kirara in the door monitoring room. Megumi then brings up the star. He asks Panda if there's a star and a name somewhere on his body. Panda then drops down on his butt and notices there's a star and a name Imai. Megumi then decides to search himself to see if there's a star on him as well, and it turns out there actually is. It turns out it's the same Crux that was marked on the rabbit escaping, so I'm guessing it's swapped to him. Megumi then goes on to speculate that there must be one marked on the divine dog as well, and that he doesn't exactly understand it right now, but this much can be understood by people who have some knowledge when it comes to stars. So he sort of got an idea what Kirara's curse technique, or at least what it has to do with. Megumi then says to Panda, I got this. This curse technique is based on constellation. And Panda's like, constellation? Yo, Panda is such a goofball, like look at what he's doing. Megumi then says the motive of the constellation is the Southern Cross. You can just look at Kirara's face, her reaction gives it all the way, like her reaction is basically, oh shit, he figured it out. And Megumi's reaction was like, oh damn, I really nailed the jackpot, oh shit, I got it. Kirara then says shit and slaps her face out of frustration. She thinks to herself, both our facial expressions gave it away. You made a face that said, really? You weren't sure that the motive for my curse technique was a southern constellation, but I made a face that also said really, and that gave him a certainty. At this rate, if they see through my curse technique, they'll get into the monitor room, so I'll stall them here. So Kirara is panicking, she messed up and things are about to get ugly. Megumi thinks it was actually the Southern Cross. I really need to thank Sumiki, but I know nothing beyond that. Wait a second, are there 4 stars in the Southern Cross constellation? So before moving on to the next part, I like how Gege made sure to include the fact that Fushiguro got his knowledge from his sister. He didn't just happen to know it randomly. I think this is really significant because lately Gege has been killing off characters that really doesn't like leave an emotional impact on the fandom the way he wants to. Mai, the whole clan, I mean they were all assholes, but the mom's death did hit a little bit, but it wasn't that deep. Many people including myself didn't feel anything when it came to Mai's death. Principal Yaki's death did kind of hit, but it was only really because of Panda. Maybe it'll hit harder once we see Gojo's reaction to it. And out of all the deaths in the series, I say Nanami's hit the most and Toji's second. Those deaths hit really hard. You got it from here and good for you, man, that can make a grown man cry. Now the reason why I bring up death is because if Gege does decide to kill Sumiki, which would be an amazing character development for Megumi, it hit harder if we had a connection to her and we had at least explored the dynamic between Megumi and Sumiki, which I trust Gege will, but you know, let's just hope everything, you know, goes right. Moving on, Panda tells Megumi, Fushiguro, I don't understand. At the same time, Megumi is trying to continue to figure out the technique. He thinks, so I am approachable to Panda Senpai right now. Megumi then says, Senpai, the Southern Cross has 4 stars, right? And Panda's just like, well, yeah, since it's a cross. And he just seems so unsure. You know, God love Panda. I mean, Megumi's like That's the expected reaction. I mean, he's a panda. He's an elite panda, but he's also a panda at the end of the day. I mean, I just found out myself, so I don't know what you expect from a panda. And panda's been trying his hardest. I mean, he's been doing good today. Megumi then says, initially I thought that Kirara's technique assigned a star from the Southern Cross to each target and forces them to stay at a certain distance from each other. But Kirara's son is able to approach the door and we're able to approach each other. That's why I think this curse technique is similar to a stamp rally or a board game that decides a route and that each star has an order to which they can approach each other, and the same stars stick together. Panda then says, shouldn't the user be unaffected by the curse technique? To which Fushiguro says, no, Kirara was also forced to stay away from the divine dog. Maybe just makes our stars repel the stars of Kirara in the door. Panda then brings up the point that if that's the case, then why isn't Kirara running to the monitor room? He then says, oh yeah, it's game over for us, and she sticks to the door from the inside. Megumi then adds that for now Kirara is on guard, making sure we don't break whatever condition that will allow us to break into the monitor room unnoticed by her. Panda says, meaning there's at least 5 stars, to which Megumi says yes. Megumi then says, if we assume that Kirara's technique mandates that we must follow the numbers in right order, if the number of stars are 4, then either I or Panda Senpai should be able to get close to Kirara-san. So it feels as if Megumi's getting closer and closer to the jackpot. Like, he's figured it out, but he's trying to like figure out exactly how it works. Megumi then goes on to speculate that there is a 5th star somewhere. If they pass through that spot, they can't approach Kirara in the door. So a lot to take in despite there being a lot. I'm glad we dedicated an entire chapter to explaining Kirara's technique. I'm glad it happened this soon. And I'm happy that it's being explained in a manner of this, where we have Fushiguro breaking it down, trying to figure out how it specifically works, instead of Gege just giving it to us or just having Kirara blatantly come out and say, which Gege does tell us exactly specifically what it is. And he tells us that Fushiguro's theory is right later on, but I think, I don't think we really had a fight like this in Jujutsu Kaisen, We had mostly, fights where our characters are just going at it, but I haven't really any, deep breakdowns, if that makes sense. This was nice for a change. Back to the chapter, Panda says, what if there are 6 or 7? To which Megumi says he hoped that isn't the case. It hardly makes sense that there are 5 stars in the cross already. At the same time, Kirara gets ready to move as she jumps into the air. She says, if they find out, I'll go on the offensive side, as she crashes into a car. And man, does the panel look so damn sick, bro. I love that art, bro. But back to the chapter. The starry mind goes onto the car and crashes directly into Panda. I was really wondering how her technique worked once it came to fighting and being on the offensive side. And I honestly was thinking this technique won't really do you much when it comes to fighting, but I guess it's not that bad. But if you're going up against someone like Megumi, you might be out of luck. As the car pushes on to Panda, he says, not a problem. Fushiguro searches for the star as she shrugs off the car. But as Fushiguro gets to running, he tells Panda he can't throw it. As Fushiguro explains, Kirara put the same Imai that he has on the car as well. So no matter how many times he throws it, it'll keep coming back. Or he'll be pulled to it like how Fushiguro was with Divine Dog. Fushiguro then begins to speculate that physical contact is likely necessary in order to place a star on the target. But neither Rabbit Escape and I were touched by Kirara-san. Divine Dog was the only one touched, meaning Kirara-san is placing a star on cursed energy instead of objects. Fushiguro then adds, so in order to place a star on objects like a door or car, wouldn't Kirara-san have imbued them with someone's cursed energy first? No, there are residuals of cursed energy that belong to someone other than Kirara-san on a car. Megumi then goes on to further to explain that if the range of the curse technique isn't that large, residuals from the other should also. Right in the middle of this thought, Fushiguro looks to the left and he sees the 5th star. Fushiguro then thinks, and I can't see any residual energy aside from us 3 now. A star has already been placed on Kirara-san's cursed energy. So Kirara-san can't use their own cursed energy to place the same accrues that I had on anything else. Therefore, no objects can come flying at me like the car from earlier. In the middle of this, Megumi reaches the 5th star. He thinks, if my inference is correct, this shall allow me to approach Kirara. And right before he could finish that thought, in the middle of this, debris starts flying at Megumi. In the following panel, Gege then reveals to us Fushiguro's theory is correct. He says Fushiguro's theory is context Kirara's curse technique, love rendezvous or interstellar flight, uses the Southern Cross constellation as a motive and assigns 5 stars to a target's curse energy in order for a star to approach another star. An order that has been decided upon must be followed, and target with the same star are drawn towards one another. The order is determined by depth of constellation. Even if the constellations look flat, they obviously have depth, and the distance from Earth is different for each star. As Fushiguro had an accrues placed on him by Kirara, he must pass through Mimosa and get on to reach the door. In the next panel, we see Panda calling Megumi amazing, which I totally agree, as he leans on the car. It looks like the car did a number on Panda. I mean, his soul is leaving his body. Moving on, Kirara then says to Megumi, "You really do understand how my curse technique works, but didn't you're so quick on the uptake, did you assume I couldn't send any more objects flying?" She adds, "I can simply remove the Ginan star that's attached to my curse energy and attach to a crude star that's also on you." She then attempts to send the objects flying towards Megumi, but in the middle of this, Megumi's divine dog sneaks up on Kirara and grabs onto her. Kirara then begins to think, how from where? No, that's it. That boy never released the puppy Shikigami. Did he also work out which of the same star would he draw onto the other? He put the Shikigami on the other side of the wall, so the Shikigami that's being drawn towards him was stuck on the wall, and once I stood in the path between them, he unreleased the puppy. Kirara then tries to perform her love rendezvous release. Before she can do that, Megumi pins her onto the ground and tells her, "Listen to what we have to say." And that's how we end the chapter. Suppression successful. Man, what a chapter. I do got to say, I wonder what's happening in the room with Yuji and Akari. I feel like in the next chapter we're going to begin the chapter with them fighting and it leading to outside, and that's when Akari's going to probably stop and listen once he sees Kirara on the ground. That's when Megumi might go on ahead and explain the situation. But I do think in order for Akari to join, they might have to fight him. And I honestly do hope we get a detailed explanation of how his technique works, just like we did with Kirara. Or maybe Gege might save that for the Culling Games. But I'm pretty sure Akari is going to want something in order for him to join. That's just the kind of guy he seems like. But let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A lot of information. This was a lot of information. But, hopefully 15 likes, I might do a video explaining Kirara's curse technique, condensed into a video that's easier for everybody to explain. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button for more content. It is your boy Anime Double Hunter. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.